Hey HEY, welcome back to this channel, the place where we talk about all things that make your heart race in the world of K-pop. Okay, today we're diving into something that, if you don't know about this yet, get ready to fall in love. And if you already know, get ready to fall in love all over again. We are talking about three names. Three names that, when said together, send ARMY into a spiral, make Shoals completely melt, and have EXOL's sobbing happy tears. Lee Taemin, Kim Jong-un, aka K-Thai, Park Jimin. Three of the greatest K-pop idols from three of the biggest fandoms in the world. Three people who each command a fan base of millions globally. Three stage legends who have individually proven themselves to be absolute monster performers. And they are best friends, not just acquaintances, not just industry colleagues who exchange a quick wave at an award show, but genuinely, truly, friends who support each other, love each other, and are proud of each other. And today, we are breaking down all of it. From how this friendship first came together, all the way to the moments that sent three fandoms into simultaneous meltdown. So whether you're ARMY, a Shoal, an EXO, or all three at once, this video is something you absolutely cannot skip. Because by the end, I guarantee you'll be smiling so hard your cheeks hurt. Let's get into it. To truly understand why the friendship between Taemin, Kai, and Jimin is so incredibly special, we need to go back, way back, to the trainee days, to the hallways of the SM Entertainment building. Here's how the story begins. It all started with someone whose name might not be as instantly recognizable as Taemin or Kai, but who is, without question, the architect behind this legendary friendship. His name is Timoteo, real name Kim Moon-gyu, a former member of the group Hotshot. Timoteo was an SM Entertainment trainee for years. And during those years of training, he forged incredibly deep bonds with two people who would go on to become huge stars. Lee Taemin of SHINee and Kim Jong-un, aka Kai, of EXO. Just picture it. These three, training in the same rooms, sweating it out together, supporting one another through the most exhausting and pressure-filled moments of their young lives. Those shared experiences laid the unshakable foundation of the friendship between Taemin, Kai, and Timoteo. Timoteo also had a close friend from outside the celebrity world, a childhood friend named Jungkook. And because Timoteo is the kind of person who brings warmth to everyone he meets, Kwanho naturally became part of the group too. Then Kai expanded the circle further by bringing in Ravi from VXX, a talented rapper whose chemistry with the squad clicked instantly. Then Timoteo introduced one of his closest friends, Ha Sung-woon, who was a member of Hotshot at the time and later joined 101. And here comes the part we've all been waiting for. It was Ha Sung-woon who brought Jimin into this circle. But the path there wasn't direct. It turned out Sung-woon had already been friends with jhope and Suga from BTS. They had known each other since their trainee days. And through jhope and Suga, Sung-woon was eventually introduced to Jimin. What happened next? Sung-woon and Jimin clicked immediately, instantly, and before long, Sung-woon introduced Jimin to the whole gang, Taemin, Kai, Timoteo, Ravi, and Kwanho. And that is how one of the most beloved friendships in K-pop history was born. Their name? Padding Friends, also known as the Parka Squad. And that name, as we're about to find out, came from a gesture that is so completely and utterly Taemin. Okay guys, now we get to one of the most wholesome facts to ever exist in K-pop history. So, do you know who actually gave this friend group their name? Not Padding Friends. That name was coined by fans. But do you know who is the reason fans named them that in the first place? Taemin. Here's the thing. Lee Taemin, the idol who looks so effortlessly cool, mysterious, and powerful on stage, has had a dream for a very long time that is shockingly simple and unbearably cute. He wanted to have a group of friends where everyone wore matching padding jackets with the same logo. Not a dream to become the biggest artist alive. Not a dream to break a chart record. But matching jackets with his friends. And Taemin didn't just dream about it. He made it happen. He went out and bought matching padding jackets for the entire squad. Yes, Taemin paid for them himself. And for their logo, he had the most creative idea. He asked every member to take a photo of their hand making a peace sign victory hand. All those hand photos were then combined into one unique logo that became the symbol of their friendship. Ha Sungwoon himself is the one who revealed this story, confirming that the name Patting Friends was purely created by fans after seeing the group all rocking the same matching jackets. Guys, just take a moment to think about this. Taemin, an idol who debuted at age 14, who is universally admired as one of the greatest performers in K-pop history, used his own money to buy his friends matching jackets, just so they could all look coordinated together. If that is not the definition of a real, true friend, I honestly don't know what is. And the fans' reaction? You can imagine. ARMY, Shoals, EXO-LS, every single fandom melted at the same time. There were no fan wars in that moment. Just a shared ocean of happy, overwhelmed tears. And that's also what made Patting Friends one of the most famous friendship squads in the entire K-pop industry. Not just because of who the members are, but because of how pure and heartfelt the whole story is. Now we get to the part that had ARMY absolutely losing it on Twitter, or X, or whatever we're calling it these days. During a live stream, Taemin, casually, but with complete and utter sincerity, spoke about Park Jimin. And what he said, every single sentence became a trending topic. Taemin said that Jimin is genuinely such a good person. He talked about how Jimin has incredibly positive energy, how talented he is, and said that there's something particularly special about the way Jimin dances and his artistic style. That to him, it feels very similar to his own. Taemin even emphasized that when two people are truly on the same wavelength, that chemistry appears naturally, and that's exactly what he feels with Jimin. Guys, this is not just a casual compliment. This is Taemin, one of the most elite dancers in K-pop history, a man whose artistic standards are extraordinarily high, saying that Jimin's dancing style resembles his own. That's not just flattery. That is the highest form of respect one artist can give to another. And the context makes it even more meaningful. Just before that live stream, Taemin and Jimin had been filming a dance challenge together for the SHINee song Hard. Think about that. Two of the most technically gifted dancers in their respective groups. Taemin, the legendary dancer of SHINee, Jimin, the powerhouse ace of BTS, filming a dance challenge side by side. The result? An absolute masterpiece, obviously. And ARMY? They were panicking, but in the best possible way. Because seeing Taemin, one of the idols Jimin has looked up to his whole life, publicly giving praise like that, it was an incredibly emotional moment for fans. But the story doesn't stop there, because there's an even more touching fact about the relationship between Jimin and Taemin. Jimin was a fan of Taemin before they ever became friends. Yes, you read that right. Park Jimin, who is now one of Taemin's closest friends, was a fan of Taemin before they actually got to know each other personally. Ha Sungwoon is the one who shared this story. One evening around the time of Mama, when Sungwoon couldn't attend, he was chatting with Jimin. And Jimin told him with so much awe and admiration that Taemin's performance at Mama was truly on another level, that the moment Taemin stepped on that stage, it felt like no one else could even come close. And when Sungwoon finally introduced Jimin to Taemin, Jimin told Taemin directly and openly that he was a fan of his. Can you even picture how adorable that moment must have been? And now, the person who used to admire Taemin from afar has become one of his closest friends, and they're openly praising each other on international live streams. If this is not a real-life fairy tale, I don't know what is. Narrator/host. Alright, now let's talk about the other iconic duo in this story, Kai and Jimin. While Taemin and Jimin's friendship grew from mutual artistic admiration, Kai and Jimin's story has a slightly more spontaneous and adorable energy to it. As we covered, Kai and Jimin met through Ha Sungwoon, and their chemistry? Instant. Two people who both have stunning visuals, who are both world-class performers, and who both have genuinely warm and fun personalities. Of course they were going to get along perfectly. One of the most legendary moments from this entire friendship is from Mama 2017. A fan cam went around capturing the moment where Taemin, Kai, and Sungwoon were watching Jimin perform on stage. And the looks on their faces? Pure pride, pure admiration. The most genuine support one friend can give another. Guys, just think about that. At a massive award show where everyone is technically competing, three idols from three different fandoms are sitting together, watching their friend perform, and cheering him on with nothing but pure, unconditional support. Not a hint of rivalry, just real love between real friends. And when that fan cam spread online, fan wars stopped for a moment. ARMY, Shoals, EXO-LS, everyone went quiet, then came together in one shared feeling. This is the most beautiful friendship in K-pop. But Kai and Jimin's moments don't stop there. When Taemin released his mini-album, Want, and held a press conference, he talked about how his friends reacted to the album. Kai said the final album was so much better than the demo version he'd heard beforehand. A compliment that carries real weight, because it means Kai genuinely listened and paid close attention. Jimin said something even deeper. He said Taemin is someone who always knows exactly what he needs to do. That's not a comment about the songs. That's a comment about the integrity of an artist. Visual highlighted text quote about their friendship. And Taemin himself added something incredibly beautiful about the dynamic of their friendship group. He said that when they're all together, they let go of being artists. They don't talk much about work. What exists between them is simply a human connection, older brothers to a younger brother, friend to friend. And that, he said, is what makes being around each other so comfortable. A friendship that's truly free from the pressures of the industry, free from fan expectations, just about who they are as ordinary human beings who genuinely care for each other. If we've been hearing from Taemin and Kai about Jimin, now it's time to hear from Jimin himself about his friends. And guys, please have some tissues nearby, because this is a whole different level of wholesome. Jimin is someone who wears his heart completely on his sleeve when it comes to the people he loves. And across 2 different BTS albums, Jimin wrote, thanks to messages that specifically name his padding friends, by name, in print, for the whole world to see. In one album, Jimin wrote, Taemin Hyung, Munju Hyung, Kwanho Hyung, Jeonjin Hyung, Sungwon Hyung, thank you so much. Because of you all, every single day I get to have so much fun. And in a later album, Jimin wrote for them again, saying he sees them just as often as he sees the members of BTS himself, and that every day is made better because of them. He even made a promise to treat them to something special one day. Guys, Jimin included his friends in a BTS album, in a medium that would be read by millions of armies around the world. Not in a private chat, not in a DM, but in an official album release, right there alongside his thanks to his family and his fellow BTS members. That means for Jimin, Taemin, Kai, and the rest of the squad are not just celebrity friends. They are a truly important part of his life, a part he celebrates in one of the most precious milestones of his career. An ARMY's reaction? A beautiful mix of emotions. Some were moved to tears. Some were overjoyed knowing Jimin has such a warm, genuine circle around him. Some immediately looked up all the names Jimin mentioned and ended up becoming fans of Taemin and Kai too. Because that is the power of this friendship. It doesn't just touch the hearts of the friends themselves. It touches the hearts of millions of people around the world who witness it. We've covered so many moments now, but I want to take a second to talk about why the friendship between Taemin, Kai, and Jimin has had such an enormous impact, not just on their 3 fandoms, but on the entire K-pop community. K-pop, we all know, can sometimes be a very competitive world. Fan wars can break out over the smallest things. Chart battles, award shows, even who poses first on a red carpet. Fandom rivalries can get incredibly intense. And that's exactly why seeing Taemin, Kai, and Jimin, 3 idols from 3 different groups, each with huge, passionate fan bases, openly and consistently showing love and support for each other is extraordinary. Every time Taemin praises Jimin on a live stream, it's not just Shoals who are happy. ARMY is happy too, because they know Jimin is loved and valued by someone they also deeply admire. Every time Kai is spotted at a photo booth or award show with Jimin, it's not just EXO-LS who are excited. Everyone is excited, because the energy between them is just too sweet not to love. And every time Jimin mentions his friends, in an album, in an interview, in a private moment that later makes its way online, it becomes a bridge connecting 3 huge fandoms. This is not about who is more famous or who has more followers. This is living, breathing proof that beyond all the competition and glamour of the entertainment industry, real, genuine friendship exists. Taemin, Kai, and Jimin are not friends because of a contractual obligation or a PR strategy. They're friends because they genuinely, truly like each other. Because they found common ground in the way they see art, the way they move through life, and the way they treat the people around them. And that, in an industry built on careful calculation and crafted images, is something incredibly rare and incredibly precious. Okay, we've made it to the part everyone's been waiting for, the highlight reel of the most legendary moments from this friendship. Moment number 1. The matching padding jackets. As we already covered, Taemin bought matching padding jackets for the entire squad. But this isn't just a funny or cute moment. It's a symbol that Taemin wanted this friendship to have an identity, something they could all be proud to represent. And even today, every single time that matching jacket photo resurfaces on someone's timeline, people still absolutely melt. Moment number 2. Mama 2017. Taemin and Kai cheer for Jimin. The fancam capturing Taemin, Kai, and Sungwoon watching Jimin perform with nothing but pride and admiration on their faces is one of the most widely shared clips in the entire K-pop community. Every year it resurfaces, and every year, the reaction is always the same. This is too beautiful. Moment number 3. The unplanned matching hair. At one point, Taemin, Kai, and Jimin, without any coordination whatsoever, each appeared with long black hair with silver highlights. All three of them. Taemin debuted the look first during his Advice comeback era, then Kai, then Jimin. 3 different idols, 3 different groups, 1 identical hairstyle with 0 planning. If that's not proof they're operating on the same frequency, I don't know what is. Moment number 4. Taemin praising Jimin on live stream. We covered this already, but it absolutely belongs in the highlight reel. Taemin called Jimin a genuinely good person, said he has great energy, and that Jimin's dancing style reminds him of himself. In the world of K-pop, that is the equivalent of getting a 5-star review from the most trusted critic in the industry. Moment number 5. Jimin naming them in BTS album, thanks to messages already discussed, but absolutely worth repeating. Jimin wrote love messages to Taemin, Kai, and his other friends in 2 separate BTS albums. Not once, twice. Because for Jimin, they are a part of life that is worth celebrating again and again. Guys, as we close out this video, I want to say something a little different from the usual. We spend so much time talking about idols through their music, their performances, their achievements. But the friendship of Taemin, Kai, and Jimin is a reminder that underneath all of that, they are ordinary human beings who need friends. Who need a space where they don't have to be the idol, don't have to be perfect, don't have to perform. They need friends they can go out with on a random evening. Friends they can send urgent texts to at midnight. Friends who will let them buy matching jackets for everyone, just because it makes them feel like a real, beautiful team. And finding that, especially in an industry as competitive as K-pop, is a blessing that is incredibly hard to come by. Guys, Jimin included his friends in a BTS album, in a medium that would be read by millions of armies around the world. Not in a private chat, not in a DM, but in an official album release, right there alongside his thanks to his family and his fellow BTS members. That means for Jimin, Taemin, Kai, and the rest of the squad are not just celebrity friends. They are a truly important part of his life, a part he celebrates in one of the most precious milestones of his career. An army's reaction? A beautiful mix of emotions. Some were moved to tears. Some were overjoyed knowing Jimin has such a warm, genuine circle around him. Some immediately looked up all the names Jimin mentioned and ended up becoming fans of Taemin and Kai too. Because that is the power of this friendship. It doesn't just touch the hearts of the friends themselves. It touches the hearts of millions of people around the world who witness it. We've covered so many moments now, but I want to take a second to talk about why the friendship between Taemin, Kai, and Jimin has had such an enormous impact, not just on their 3 fandoms, but on the entire K-pop community. K-pop, we all know, can sometimes be a very competitive world. Fan wars can break out over the smallest things. Chart battles, award shows, even who poses first on a red carpet. Fandom rivalries can get incredibly intense. And that's exactly why seeing Taemin, Kai, and Jimin, 3 idols from 3 different groups, each with huge, passionate fan bases, openly and consistently showing love and support for each other is extraordinary. Every time Taemin praises Jimin on a live stream, it's not just Shawls who are happy. ARMY is happy too, because they know Jimin is loved and valued by someone they also deeply admire. Every time Kai is spotted at a photo booth or award show with Jimin, it's not just the EXO-LS who are excited. everyone is excited, because the energy between them is just too sweet not to love. And every time Jimin mentions his friends, in an album, in an interview, in a private moment that later makes its way online, it becomes a bridge connecting three huge fandoms. This is not about who is more famous or who has more followers. This is living, breathing proof that beyond all the competition and glamour of the entertainment industry, real, genuine friendship exists. Taemin, Kai, and Jimin are not friends because of a contractual obligation or a PR strategy. They're friends because they genuinely, truly like each other. Because they found common ground in the way they see art, the way they move through life, and the way they treat the people around them.